You are very likely familiar with Bari Weiss. Bari Weiss is not a conservative. She used to work at the New York Times. Now she just has her own Substack and her own podcast, and it's more credible than anything you're seeing in the New York Times. But she's not a conservative. Sometimes conservatives make this mistake where whenever anyone questions the dominant liberal regime in any way, we just take them in and we say, you're one of us, you're one of us. But she is not. She's a liberal who does not go along with the dominant regime. So she was just on CNN. She's liberal enough that she still gets invited on CNN. And she called out that liberal ruling class for the corruption and the coercion that it involves. And she did this specifically with Brian Stelter on the ironically named show Reliable Sources. Take a listen.
You write, there are tens of millions of Americans who aren't on the hard left or the hard right who feel the world has gone mad. So in what ways has the world gone mad?
Well, when you have the chief reporter on the beat of COVID for the New York Times talking about how questioning or pursuing the question of the lab leak is racist, the world has gone mad. When you're not able to say out loud and in public that there are differences between men and women, the world has gone mad.
You say we're not allowed, we're not able. Who's the people stopping the conversation? Who are they?
People that work at networks, frankly, like the one I'm speaking on right now, who try and claim that, it was racist to investigate the lab leak theory. It was. But
who
let's
said
just
that
take
at
an
CNN?
example.
But I'm just saying that when you say allowed, I just think it's a provocative thing you say. You say we're not allowed to talk about these things, but they're all over the internet. I can Google them. I can find them everywhere. I've heard about every story you mentioned.
Course.
So I'm just suggesting, of course, people are allowed to cover whatever they want to cover.
Who's shutting down the conversation? Who's not letting people speak? Hold on, shut up, Bari. Keep your mouth shut. I'm not done talking. Who's doing that? No one's doing that. Okay, I'll give you the last word. Actually, no, I won't. Shut up. Who's shutting down the you are, Brian. You are literally shutting down the conversation right now. And I'm not sure that he really believes what he's saying. What he is saying is that the establishment media do not in any way suppress questions about Dr. Fauci, questions about the COVID origins and the associated public health tyranny, that they do not in any way suppress, the distinction between men and women, and that's just preposterous. I could be kicked off of social media for saying that men are not women, and there are specific rules around it which we try to get around without compromising the truth and the reality of what we're reporting. But we've been dinged on it before on this show, at the Daily Wire, elsewhere. And then what is his argument? He says, look, yeah, maybe we don't cover any of these things on CNN. Maybe the New York Times doesn't cover these things, but you can Google it. So first of all, Google will suppress the search results. But second of all, is that's really your answer? Virtually all the newspapers, virtually all the TV stations, virtually all of the main media outlets, also run by big tech, which are going to suppress certain stories like the Hunter Biden laptop story or anything regarding COVID that doesn't go along with Dr. Fauci. So all of the power structures are going to suppress those sorts of views. But, if you poke around the deep recesses of the internet, maybe you'll find something. So it's the same. It's not being suppressed. What are you talking about, dude? It's really frustrating. Bari Weiss is totally right here, and Brian Stelter is demonstrating how wrong he is. I no longer look at screens if I'm going to have to see that blue light. You're probably not even aware of it because there's so much of it in our culture, and you see it on your phone, and you see it on the TV, and you see it on the computer screen. Well, you can fix that right now with Blue Blocks, okay? Blue Blocks, they're very cool, fashionable glasses, and they will seriously reduce your eye strain. I was getting headaches from my eye strain, you don't even know what it is, right? But then the minute you get rid of that blue light, you're going to see the difference is really, really stark, okay? For some people, that blue light can even cause anxiety, depression, low energy. Get rid of it now with Blue Blocks. They're evidence-backed. They're made under optics laboratory conditions in Australia. They're really, really high-end. Right now, head over to blueblocks.com/Knowles. Use promo code Knowles at checkout to get 20% off and enjoy free shipping on orders over $115. Get your energy back, sleep better, block out the unhealthy effects of blue light with Blue Blocks. That is BLUBLOX.com/Knowles, or click the link And make sure to use code Knowles to get 20% off your order. Enjoy free shipping on orders over $115. BLUBLOX.com/Knowles for 20% off today. You can thank me later. I think we need to go a little further here, right? Bari Weiss is a good liberal. I like her. I'm glad there are good liberals. I'm glad she's doing what she's doing. She's doing real work. We need to go further, though. Okay, a lot of times this trap conservatives fall into is we pretend that good liberalism is the goal. That, relatively open-minded liberals like Bari Weiss, that's it. That's the gold standard, and that's what we need to aim at. And the conservatives whine about authoritarianism, or they whine about illiberalism, or they do this both sides kind of thing, and that's just not going to cut it, okay? And this is why we lose, because those words don't really mean very much, okay? Authoritarianism or illiberalism. Go read John Locke, okay? John Locke, the father of liberalism, reads as much more authoritarian or illiberal, or whatever slogan we want to use, than anybody who is being accused of those things today. The mealy-mouthed, both sides, let's just kind of go back to 5 minutes ago. Let's just preserve and conserve the culture of 2013, that's not going to work. We need to actually have a view of what is true and what is good and what is beautiful, and we need to be willing to stand by that. I mean, this is the point of my book, Speechless, Controlling Words, Controlling Minds, which, thanks to you all, became a #1 national bestseller. I think it became a #1 national bestseller in part because it looked at this thing and said, no, the answer is not just to repeat the same old slogans about keeping an open mind and having free speech absolutism and not telling people what to think, just how to think, and, authoritarianism or whatever. It's liberty entails limits, and we need to be willing to set those and stand by those things and say, look, if men and women, to use Barry's example, if men and women really are different, then that entails certain things. And that means that, men can't go into the girls' bathroom. And it means that men don't have a right to dress up like women and pretend to be women. And it means that actually marriage has a specific meaning. And it means that, no, maybe the transportation secretary shouldn't take 2 or 3 months of paternity leave amid a transportation crisis. And it just implies certain things. And it doesn't just imply that we can do X, Y, and Z. It implies that we can't do certain things as well. It implies limits. I'm so glad you enjoyed that clip. I enjoyed it too, I just felt it sounded good, it looked good. I'm glad that we can agree on that. If you want to see more clips, if you want to see the whole show, subscribe here, ring the bell. Also head on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play. For free, you can subscribe to the Michael Knowles Show podcast. Helps us get around the censors that come up every now and again. We'll see you next time.